We began in the United States, where President Donald Trump sat for an interview with Fox News on Sunday, where he spoke about his tariffs and their impact on the U.S. economy.
The moment he stepped into office for his second term, Trump made big promises. He claimed he would bring grocery prices down, lower inflation, and make life easier for working-class Americans. But months into his presidency, these promises have not materialized. Instead of seeing relief, Americans are still struggling with high prices, economic uncertainty, and market instability. If things keep moving in this direction, the United States could be on the path to another recession. Some experts are already warning that the country is showing multiple warning signs of economic decline. One of the biggest risks to the economy right now is Trump's aggressive trade policies. Recently, he imposed new tariffs on multiple countries, including Canada, Mexico, and India. And who knows which country is next in line? His unpredictable tariff policies have made global trade more difficult and expensive. Trump argues that these tariffs protect American businesses by making foreign products more expensive, forcing companies to buy American-made goods instead. But in reality, tariffs often lead to higher prices for consumers and businesses. When foreign products become more expensive, companies that rely on imported materials, like car manufacturers, construction companies, and electronics producers, are forced to raise their prices as well. Let's take steel and aluminum as an example. Trump recently doubled tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum, pushing the tax up to 50%. At first glance, this might seem like a strong move to help American steel companies. But here's the problem. American companies still rely on Canadian steel and aluminum for making everything from cars to kitchen appliances to airplanes. Now that the cost of importing steel has doubled, companies like Ford and General Motors are facing higher production costs. They have two options: either raise prices on their cars, making them less affordable for consumers, or cut jobs to balance out the extra costs. Either way, this puts a strain on the economy. Higher prices hurt consumers, while job cuts directly impact thousands of workers and their families. This is what Trump had to say about the recent tariffs and concerns about another recession.
And you said that the other
I've only
night.
been here,
But are you expecting a recession this year?
I hate to predict things like that. There is a period of transition because what we're doing is very big. We're bringing wealth back to America. That's a big thing. And there are always periods of, it takes a little time. It takes a little time.
Can you give us a sense of whether or not we are going to get clarity for the business community?
Well, I think so, but the tariffs could go up as time goes by, and they may go up, and I don't know if it's predictability. I think
so. That's not clarity.
No, I think that they say that. It sounds good to say, but for years, the globalists, the big globalists, have been ripping off the United States. They've been taking money away from the United States, and all we're doing is getting some of it back. And we're going to treat our country fairly. I wanted to help the American car makers until April 2nd. April 2nd, it becomes all reciprocal. But what they charge us, we charge them. But this is short term, and I felt that for the good of the American car makers and the MCA, the USMCA, that's Mexico, Canada, I thought it would be a fair thing to do. And so I gave them a little bit of a break.
And let's not forget about Trump's tense relationships with world leaders. Recently, Trump has engaged in verbal conflicts with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless. God bless. You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
That's
Remember
exactly
this.
what you're doing.
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
You will feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards.
Playing cards.
But right now, you don't.
You're
playing cards. You're playing cards. You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. That's
with
back
all
to you.
respect to you,
Far more than a lot of people said they should have.
Have you said thank you once?
Your country is in big trouble.
Can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No,
Can
you've
I
done a lot
answer?
of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not
I
winning.
know.
You're not winning this.
I
You have a damn good chance of
we are
coming out
staying,
okay because of us.
Mr. President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet,
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this
We
cabinet.
gave you, through
I
this
said thank
stupid
you.
president, $350 billion.
You voted
we gave
for
you
your
military
president.
equipment,
You
and you
voted
men
for
are
your
brave,
president.
but they had to use our military.
What about
if you didn't have
You
our
invited
military
me-
equipment,
You invited
if
me
you
to
didn't
speak.
have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3
okay?
days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days, this is something
Maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this. I tell you.
Just say thank you.
I said a lot of
accept
times
that
thank
there,
you
accept
to
that,
American people.
accept that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us, you have the cards. But without us, you don't have any cards.
Your foreign affairs minister yesterday called all of this a psychodrama. How do you characterize it?
Thursday. I can confirm that it was a colorful call, and it was also a very substantive call. We talked about a range of issues. Of course, primarily the trade war that they have chosen to unjustly launch on Canada.
His aggressive stance on foreign relations could lead to strained diplomatic and economic ties, making it harder for the US to negotiate trade deals or maintain strong alliances. For example, Trump's relationship with NATO has been shaky. He has threatened to pull US support for the organization, which could weaken America's global influence and create uncertainty among allies. This could have a serious impact on markets, investments, and even national security. His approach to trade wars, combined with his unpredictable foreign policy decisions, could make investors even more nervous. And when investors lose confidence, stock markets drop, and businesses start preparing for the worst by cutting costs, freezing hiring, or laying off workers. And this brings us to another critical issue: the national debt. During Trump's first term, the national debt skyrocketed due to tax cuts and increased government spending. Now, in his second term, the situation is even worse. The US debt has reached new record levels and interest rates have been rising. This means that the government is spending more and more money just to pay off interest on the debt, leaving less room for important programs like infrastructure, healthcare, and social security. If Trump continues increasing government spending while cutting taxes, the debt could spiral out of control, making a future recession even more painful. And if a financial crisis hits while the government is already deep in debt, the US might not have enough resources to respond effectively, leading to an even longer and deeper economic downturn. The question now is, can Trump turn things around before it's too late? Will he adjust his trade policies? Will he manage to control inflation? Or will his policies push America further toward economic decline? Only time will tell, but one thing is clear. If things keep going wrong, the US economy could be heading towards serious trouble. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel to show your support. Until next time.